Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. See, we got 15 of you here. Good to see you. I just got back from vacation, so the studio gets torn apart when I travel because I take a bunch of equipment with me. And so I'm running a few minutes behind while I was putting it all together this morning. Because actually, normally I have this set up where I drop my stepdaughter off from school. I go inside. I do one-on-one work with clients where I do it on an app called Marco Polo. So I usually do a little bit of one-on-one client work, and then I get ready and I come here. But I forgot. And I got into my rhythm, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I don't even have a camera hooked up. So I walked in like nothing's hooked up. So I got it all put together. But it's good to see you all. Good to see you here. You're welcome to throw me a comment here, and I will bring you up on screen. Like, hello, Linda Joe from Naples, Florida. Oh, hold on. Let's move this. I was tinkering with it a little bit. We'll move that somewhere where it's a little easier to see. Good morning, Hope. Good morning, Karen. And, well, Linda said that, but hi. And Kayanne and Howard McKay, Manitoba, Canada. And, of course, good morning to my lovely wife, Candace. I've been tracking calories for the last couple days. Or not a couple days, I don't know why I just say couple days. A couple weeks. 3 weeks, actually. And last week, as I said, I was traveling, visiting family for spring break, and tracked my calories while I was doing that. And that was good. I haven't done that in a while, where I tracked while traveling. And it was as easy as I remember it and as difficult as I remember doing it. There were several things, though, that we did that really helped. One of the things, hold on, let's see, do I have it here? One moment, let me grab this. Kitchen scale. Let me tell you, it is so incredibly difficult to determine your calories when you're not weighing your food. You've got to have one of these. And this last week I was traveling and we had one. And my father-in-law let it live on the counter. And it was really, really nice just being able to walk up at any moment, be able just to weigh things out. Can I talk about kitchen scales for a moment, though? I've owned several over my last 5-year journey. My favorite one is in a box somewhere. I don't know where it is. I need to find that thing because I like it. It has a couple features that I really like. Because I need to bring it in so I can show that one to you. But there's a few features that I've learned. If the scale has it or is missing it, it sucks. One of them is this one, the same type my father-in-law is. The controls are here on the front. But when you touch, the entire top is the scale. So if I touch here, like if I touch the button, that changes the weight. Really annoying. Don't like that. That's a super annoying feature. So literally when I go to hit tear, it messes things up. But one feature that this one has is this little dial that changes the unit type, the one my father-in-law had. Let's say it was in ounces, but I realized, I want to weigh this in grams. I had to take the scale, everything off the scale, flip it over, and then hit a button on the back to change the unit type, then flip it back over, and then I could go about doing my thing. Horribly annoying. Because I am often going back and forth between ounces and grams as I'm building my meal. Because one of the things I do is I'll put my plate, I'll put my thing here. I'll add some things, zero it out, add a few more things, zero it out, add a few more things. And I'm entering into MyFitnessPal as I go. And I discovered, let's take meat. I like to do meat in ounces, but I like to do cheese in grams. And so when I was adding that, but then went to do cheese, I'm like, flip, do this, put it back, add that. Now I want to do something else in ounces. Flip, hit the button, put it back. So yes, that is not the first time I've had a scale that's done that. So make sure your scale allows you to change the unit type on the face. The two that I use, I really only use two. I use ounces and I use grams. Those two are excellent. See, Hope, I might need a new kitchen scale. I have one where the plate blocks the display. Oh, yeah. So one of the things that's really nice, that my favorite scale, I need to find it because my current scale doesn't do it, and it's actually really annoying, the plate covers the numbers. Hold on, I have a plate in here. Let me grab this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Regular size dinner plate, right? Big plate. Check it out. Check it out. Let's see. Hold on. I think I want that one. There we go. Move this further back. I don't know why that's so glitchy. Probably because it needs to be cabled. But you'll notice here when you go to, this one, when you put it on, it actually blocks the buttons, which is fine, I guess. Wow, why is that so pagey? That is not normally so, that's not normally also glitchy. You know what? Pardon me, everybody. I'm going to walk over and grab a cable. Be right back. All right, figured I'd give you some music while I did that. Thanks for bearing with me. Hey, by the way, if you got a weight loss question, ask it in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'm going to talk about Ozempic and Wegovy here in a minute. Just letting people get here. But if you have a question, you're welcome to ask it. Ask it in the comments there, and I'll get to it. All right. So let's see if this works better when it's plugged in. That has not done that to me in the past, but we are live troubleshooting. And is the benefits of a live show is you get the full thing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, way better. All right, so there was something about that when it was not being... there was something... All right, there was something going on there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, so let's move this little thing here. Oh, that's better. So now I should be able to go here and bring this back. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now we're thinking with portals or something. All right, so one of the things that's really annoying about kitchen scales is a lot of them, the dinner plate, when you set it on top of it, it covers the numbers. Now, this one you can set further back, but even still, like look at that. Like, it's not even all the way on. So a lot of them, this one's stupid. It's got the button here. But I had one where the entire display would separate and pull out from it. I feel like I am doing just an absolutely terrible job of explaining this. This is why I need to find my other favorite kitchen scale and bring that one in. So, you know what? Let's see. What happens if we just leave you right here looking at me? So now I can be like, huh. Oh, that's really close. I don't think I need that. That's too close. All right, let's see if anybody asks any questions here in the chat. Jessica, never been able to catch these live streams. Well, hey, be sure to if you don't want to miss any more in the future, be sure to subscribe and click that little notification bell, and that will make sure you get notified when I go live. I also am going to post about it in the Facebook group, but I'm going to be coming live here every Monday morning at YouTube, and I'd love to see you here when I do that. All right. I'm having the Chris Terrell special sugar-free vanilla latte this morning. Oh, yeah. So y'all, if you don't know, the sugar-free vanilla latte from McDonald's is amazing. Oh, Candace, I think I know the Chris Terrell podcast intro by heart at this point. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Y'all don't know this, but the podcast is not edited other than to remove dead space and ums and uhs. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Chris Terrell podcast. I am your host, Chris Terrell, and welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you? Anyway, I recorded all live and I have all the buttons and switches. So it's kind of fun. All right. I was unashamedly dancing to the music. I am often grooving to that music when I'm getting ready. Linda Joe, how do I stay disciplined with my weightlifting? Do I just suck up? Oh, no, I clicked the thing. Now I can't read it. Go away. Go away button. There we go. Do I just have to suck it up and do something I don't want to do? I mean, you don't have to. You can. You can. How to answer this question? All right, let's think of it this way. All right, so let's move this here. Here we go. We're gonna leave that. There we go. We'll do it like this. This way I can leave it up, but I still have everything in front of me going. So exercise is much more fun if you enjoy it. If you enjoy the form of exercising you're doing. There are plenty of forms of exercise that I do not like. So I just don't really do them because I don't really like doing them. That being said, let's take my job that I do. I am self-employed. I work for myself. I love what I do. You know, some people say when you do what you love, you'll never work another day in your life. Maybe. But last I checked, every job has jobby bits. And what I do is no exception, right? Like I got to sit down, like last week, I had to spend time figuring out taxes, paying taxes. That's like not fun, especially when you got to write a big check at the end of it, right? Like it's not the fun part of a job, but I got to do it. And it's just for a moment. It's just for a moment, just for a day. You know, there's plenty of things like that within a job where I just got to do aspects of it that are jobby feeling that aren't my most favorite. But the majority of it I enjoy. The majority of it is stuff that I like doing. If the majority of the stuff I was doing I didn't like, what's the point of working for myself? I might as well get a job that includes more of what I like doing. And when it comes to weightlifting, what I would say is if you don't like it, go find a version that you do. Now, when I hear you say weightlifting, I don't think in terms of weightlifting. I think in terms of cardio. I think in terms of strength training. And I think in terms of like functional movements, flexibility, you know, there's some other specialty things right there. But the two big ones being cardio and resistance training. Cardio, designing to improve my cardiovascular health, improving my muscle endurance, like the ability for the muscles to go for a while, my heart's ability to go for a while, my lungs' ability to go for a while, my mind's ability to go for a while. All that's on the cardio side, the endurance side of things for me. And that could be hit where high intensity, where I ramp up the cardio, back down, ramp up the cardio, back down. There can be plenty of that. There's also resistance training. The purpose of resistance training being to make my muscles stronger and improve bone density. Weightlifting is one of the ways that you could do resistance training, but there's lots of other ways you could do resistance training. I like to do running for resistance training for my legs, but what I will do is I will find hills and I will just run up the hills. I did a workout last week where there is a picture this for a second. There's my park that I run at has that outdoor exercise equipment. So there's one here, a long hill down, flat and long, nice hill up, and then another piece of exercise equipment. And what I was doing, I think it's a half mile or a third a mile between the two. I would exercise on one, run down the hill, run up the hill, do body weight exercises here, run down the hill, up the hill, do it here. So I was running, but I was doing resistance training. You know, it's just all I had was my body weight. You know, I might do some push-ups, I might do some pull-ups. Some of them, the pull-ups I did with my feet on the ground. No, so it's just taking some of the weight off so I could still do them. I might do some box steps. I mean, just all sorts of stuff. I mean, I just learned different movements, and I like doing it. I like being outdoors. The going and working out in the gym is fine, but it is not my favorite. So what I would say is, Linda, you are going to have to work out if you categorically just don't like working out. But you don't have to do a version of exercises you really, really dislike. You can do versions that you like. And what I would say is be a sampler. Look at all different forms of exercising out there. But resistance training is a big one. I would strongly encourage everybody get that in. Jennifer, I have an OXO scale, which is Target brand, I believe. And the display pulls out and slides forward for big plates. Jennifer, you and I might have the same scale. My favorite scale is an OXO scale. I got it a long time ago, and it does that. It's really nice. You know what? Let me see if I can do this. OXO scale pull out display. I am doing this online. Yeah, here we go. You know, I've not tried this yet here, so you may have to bear with me while I set this up live. I should, let's see, do I have a screen share one set up? No. Let's do this. Main, show scenes window. I believe I have a screen share. Yeah, right here. That is showing the wrong screen, but that is a fixable thing. All right, mute system audio. My audio is good. You're seeing some files here. I just got to change what you are all seeing. Aha, there we go. Screen share. Come on. Change. I need to change the display to other display. Actually, I'd rather just take it to Safari. Perfect. All right. So here we have, this is the scale. This is my favorite. And what we're talking about here is this feature right here. See, will this zoom in? No, it's not going to zoom in. But this feature where it pulls the scale out or the display out, such a nice feature of a kitchen scale. This scale right here, I highly recommend, although that one's $55. Why on earth is that scale $55? That seems ridiculous. Let's see, what's this one? This is $32. But this is very similar. But this has a few features that I absolutely love. First, see the power on button. You see right here, you can switch between ounces and grams with a push button. And then this right here. This feature, I'm telling you, this feature is so nice to have. It's so nice to have. I really miss that my scale doesn't have that on there. But this scale right here is actually, this is it. This is the newest version of my scale, or a newer version. I absolutely love that scale. Let's see, going here to Amazon. Come on. Why are you not loading? Oh, is that stainless steel one again? It is. Why is it? I guess I assume it. You know what? It's probably $55 because it's, you know, stainless steel. That's probably why it was expensive. Here we go. Here's an Amazon one that is not $55. So $29. Yeah, there we go. And then here, Amazon. Let me zoom in. Yeah, this pull-out feature, so cool, so cool. Tell you all what. I'm going to, let me stop sharing my screen here. I don't know if this is going to work. If anybody needs a kitchen scale, I believe I can drop an affiliate link right here for you. Yeah, text, copy. Let's see, is this going to work? All right. All right, I think I just posted a comment. It says add to, so I put this here. That is an affiliate link, full disclosure, but that's the direct link to that scale. I mean, whether you buy it or not, that's fine. But just thought you might like to see that. All right, let's take some more questions. Oh, hey, in the guild. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope, make the workout pleasurable in some way. Nice clothes, massage beds, anything. Yeah, when working out, that's one of the things I do is just to make it super fun. All right, next question. What was your absolutely most favorite quick go-to meal when you weren't prepared and you were hangry? Oh, I still eat it. It's one of my favorites. So I use something called veggie pasta. And you know what? Hold on. Let's do a screen share and let me configure. I'm going to configure my buttons real quick on this thing, which will make it easier for me to trigger a screen share at any time. There we go. Do that. Bear with me one moment. Good fellows and madams. Hold on. My mouse is giving me grief. There we go. Come down here, run scene. Screen share. Let's rename that. Screen share. Y'all are seeing me produce this stuff live. Welcome to live stuff. All right, so I should be able to go here, which would be like, ta-da! And then I should be able to go here and ta-da! All right, wait. What? We got screen sharing. Yep, we're going to be ridiculous like that. So anyway, veggie pasta. I still crack myself up. All right, this is one of my go-to favorites. Like, I can walk in, have no food, and within 5 minutes, I am shoveling food in my face. I love this veggie pasta right here. Let me tell you why I love this. So first, you can see here, nice up and close. That looks like pasta. Yeah, we need to see the back. All right, go more. Look at this. 410 calories for the entire container. Now, hopefully this is showing up clear. It may not. I don't know how clear the stream is. It's 20 grams of protein for the entire bag. It also has, as you can see, 5 grams of fiber. It's reasonable on the sodium, and the fats aren't bad. There's some fats that are in it. And your micronutrients, it's fine. It does have potassium, which is good. I do enjoy getting the potassium that way. And it's got its iron, but that's not really the big reasons why I eat it. But I will eat this, the veggie pasta. I have been keeping this stuff in my freezer for years now because it is my go-to thing where I'm like, I need something to eat, something quick. I will throw that in the fridge, and then I like to pair it with a protein. So while it is cooking in the microwave, which is about 4.5 minutes, I will simultaneously be cooking up my ground turkey. And the ground turkey that I use is this right here. So this is the honeysuckle 90 lean, 10 fat. Sometimes I'll do 93, 97 or 93 lean, 7 fat. But often it'll be one of these. And you can see here, well, no, you can't. It's hard to read. I can't even read that. Let's look here. 190 calories for a quarter pound of it, 4 ounces. And I will often, for me, I'll throw in half a pound of this, and I'll do that with it. So it's like basically getting spaghetti with a meat sauce, and it is so good and so filling. So that's one of my favorite go-to for answering your question, if I'm hangry, because I'm eating hot food, hot pasta with meat in it in 5 minutes. It's excellent. Kristen. Hey, Kristen. At what point do I reevaluate my calories? I set them at their current level when I was 21 pounds heavier. I'm still losing weight. My gut tells me, look at that when I stall out. Your gut is right. Just when you stall out, then take a look at it. As well as in the guild, we have some lessons that we can talk about. The dreaded stall would be the lesson you're looking for. THH, hello. I'm just starting out, and even though I'm coming to terms with tracking, struggle with the fear of going hungry, and I find myself constantly making sure I have access to food. Any tips? Yeah. It's amazing how in this day and age we can still be ruled by a fear of being hungry and not having food nearby. I think a good part of this is coming into you're just not very comfortable or familiar with the feelings of being hungry. And I would ease into it. Part of this is what I did is I just ripped the Band-Aid off. I would just like have food and then just not have food near me and be like, if I need it, I can go get it. This was one of these things like I chose to just read the room and be like, look, there's no real harm that's going to come from this. I can just go get food. I'm not going to die in an hour. Like people intermittent fast, people do OMAD, people do multi-day fasts. I am not going to die in 2 hours. Nothing bad is going to happen in 2 hours other than I might get cranky. Okay. So I just, personally what I did is I just jumped into it and desensitized myself to it. Now, that might not make sense for you. For many of you, that'll make sense. For many of you, it won't. For those of you that don't, you might just need to ease into it a little bit. Maybe just have one small snack with you, just enough to take the edge off. But this is going to be a practice thing, THH. You're just going to have to practice. Karen, I was thinking the same thing, $55 on the scale, right? I like the light on the steel one for measuring without turning on the overhead light. Actually, my kitchen scale, the other one, had a light. So yes, but kitchen scales with a light in it are nice for those late night snacking. Marlo, can you share how you move from tracking into intuitive eating? I'm struggling with my mind chatter when I try to stop it satisfied. Overeating is making the scale go in the wrong direction. I'll give you one tip. And that is, if you want to move to intuitive eating from tracking, it's intuitively eat while tracking. Drop the target. That's all you're doing. You should still record because you need to see does your intuition result in you eating an amount of food that you want to eat? If it doesn't, you need to track to keep an eye out on yourself. I see a lot of people, they just I would have moved from tracking to intuitive eating when really what it is you just don't want to track anymore. And so you move to intuitive eating and then you end up gaining weight because you're eating too much, because you don't want to track because you don't like that it's resulting in you not eating as much. So you really got to make sure that this is real. And the best way to do it is still track, but don't track to a target. Let your intuition tell you what to do for a little bit. Michelle, I tried the veggie pasta last week and it was delicious. I'm telling y'all, that veggie pasta is delicious. Have I heard of Trumont for weight loss? No, but I'm about to. I'm about to Google that word. Trumont. Weight loss. No, I have no idea what this is. Never heard of it. So I do not know what that is. Let me know. I'd be glad to take a look. Rebecca, did you find yourself getting full much faster after you lost weight? It still surprises me when I realize how much I could eat before versus now before feeling overly full. All right. I cannot put away as much food as I used to be able to. I can still put away some food, but not as much as I used to be able to. Part of it is because I was just more willing to tolerate a certain degree of misery, of physical misery and discomfort that I'm no longer willing to tolerate. That's a big part of it. And the other part of it is I don't freak out when I'm not full. Like I stop eating sooner and I'm okay. So it's not that I get fuller. It's psychologically, it's a very different thing. I just don't like the feeling of being overly stuffed. So much so that at last Thanksgiving, I chose not to stuff myself stupid because the 2 Thanksgivings prior I did. And both times I'm like, why did I do this? I absolutely hate how I feel. This sucks. This is awful. I remember laying in bed not this one, but the 2 prior. So 3 Thanksgivings ago, I'm laying in bed, just like holding my stomach. And I'm like, why did I do this? I'm like, I hurt so bad. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. I barely ate for 3 days after that. I mean, I just wasn't hungry and I didn't want food. And so when this last Thanksgiving came around, I said, all right, self. So if we eat stupid, we're going to feel that way again. Let's not kid ourselves and pretend like I can eat like an asshole and then not feel that way. And I'm just sitting, I'm like, I am not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to feel like I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to eat however much I want, but I am not getting stupid full because that sucks. Do you still weigh your food when you intuitively eat? I did when I transitioned, and I still do to spot check myself. The kitchen scale always is around. Energy, been in the guild since January, loving it. Glad to have you in the guild. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. My wife has been interested, but has held off taking any actions. Any suggestions or recommendations? Podcast. Just find a favorite episode of a podcast, something that clicked with you, one that resonated with you, and be like, hey, can you give this a listen? I'd love to chat with you a couple things about it. Get your thoughts. See what you think. And just send a podcast that really vibed with you, or one that you think might be of value to her, and send it to your partner. That's what I'd say. Kay. Hey, Kay. Sometimes I find I'm disappointed in how much less food I need to eat to feel satisfied compared to what I used to eat. Yeah. I don't know that I ever get disappointed by that. I think I really just get excited, if I'm being honest, because I think that means I'm changing. River, good morning. How do you feel about foam rolling after running? My shins were hurting pretty bad because of the past month. Started running again. Bought one and instant relief. I have foam rollers. I use massage guns. I have a Theragun. They all help. And when I'm pushing and ramping up, I need it. I need it. So foam rolling is excellent. Big fan. Shelly, morning. Tuning in for the first time. Welcome. Just started listening to you, and you've been great help in mindset. Is there such a thing as going too hard? Yes, very, very much so. There's a thing as going too hard. When I first got into this, when I first started weight loss coaching, I fully was expecting I was going to spend the majority of my time giving people kicks in the butt, telling people, hey, come on. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of that to be had. But what was happening a lot more often is I was actually reining people back. That was a surprise. How often I was like, hey, I think you're doing too much. I have had hey, I'm the weight loss coach and I asked you to do 3 things. Why did you come back this week having done 6? If I wanted you to do 6, don't you think I'd have asked you to do 6? Like that exact conversation. I'm that bold where I'm just calling a person out right there. I just call it out now. I used to kind of dance around it, but now I'm just like, no, help me understand why, rather than just focusing on the 3 things I gave you, you chose to do more. Why? It's impatience. I just want to get results fast. This is too easy. I felt like I should be doing more. I was being hard on myself. I want to be a good student. I want to be like your perfect student. It's like, I just wanted to do it. I didn't think it would hurt. Oh, it's what I've always done. And I'm like, look, I'm the weight loss coach. Like you paid me money for me to tell you what to do. Why are you paying me money to tell you what to do, only for you to not go do it and go do something else instead? Like, yeah. And the reason why I do that is because I'm often giving people, I'm like, look, you're not going to feel like you're doing much. Like you're probably so used to like everything about life feels different in the course of a week that I'm going to be like, hey, let's do this one super simple thing every day for 2 weeks. And you're like, what? No, that's ridiculous. I'm better than that. And then your pride gets in the way and feel like you got to go do more. No, less is more. Like do less that you could do for a long time, not less, not a bunch that you can only do for a short time, right? You gotta avoid burnout. You have to avoid burnout. Burnout is the big killer of weight loss journeys. Zabina, just realized I've been eating away my deficit with little things that are super low in calories. Oh, yeah. It's like back in the day with ATM machines, before we were doing everything with cards and stuff. But you could easily just ATM yourself by $20 right out of all your money. You could totally do that with your calories. You can bite yourself 25 calories at a time right out of a deficit. Rose, how do I get off autopilot when it comes to eating? I don't think about what I'm eating or how much I'm eating until I feel full after. Well, you start with where you're at now. You're in exactly the right place. It starts with awareness. The first step to getting off of autopilot is creating conscious awareness to the fact that you are eating on autopilot. Because if you don't know, how would you fix it? Right now, though, you're noticing after the fact. Like you have engaged in the act and you're like, I just autopiloted again. I just did it again. That's good. That's good. Now we got to work further back in time. I want you to get to the place. Your next step, Rose, is to work your way backwards to the point that you see yourself habitually eating as you're doing it. That's what you need to do. You need to be able to sense that you're doing it as you're doing it. Because then is when you're going to take action. There is more you're going to do past that point. But if you cannot reliably identify, hey, I'm eating out of habit right this very second. If you can't identify that in the moment, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do to fix it. There's nothing you can be able to do about it. So you're on the right track. You just awareness after the fact, conscious awareness, and then begin working your way backwards until that conscious awareness, the light of your consciousness is shined onto the moment that you are eating out of habit. And then you can have a chance to change it. Great question, Rose. Can we talk about Ozempic, GLP-1s for a second? That's what I really wanted to talk about today. Can I tell you about my first exposure to a GLP-1? Can I tell you about that for a second? Thanks. None of y'all had a chance to respond because there's a delay. I'm going to just start talking about it. So I had a client. This is early on in me coaching. And I had this client and he said, I'm doing OMAD. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what OMAD is, that's an acronym, stands for one meal a day. OMAD, OMAD. And this person's like, I'm doing OMOD. I knew right away, like, this isn't a good long-term solution, but the objective isn't to have the person stop it right away. The objective is to be like, let's just talk about it. Why are you doing it? What's making you do this, right? And right away, the person just said something that really just sort of set off this weird sensor in my head. And I didn't know I didn't know about, well, let me just go through it. The person said, I'm just not really hungry. I was like, well, that's odd. And here's the thing you got to understand about this individual. When I did my intake, this individual loved cooking. Like, a lot of effort went into cooking. This person bought lots of ingredients. This person loved to entertain with food. Like, food was very much a part of this person's life. This person loved food. And this person's overweight. So when the person's telling me this, I was normally expecting, in my exposure that I'd had at this point, that this person would be eating a lot. Then this person's telling me I'm doing OMOD. So then I'm thinking, oh, well, you're just doing like intuitive eating. Or sorry, not intuitive eating. Sorry. Intermittent fasting. Wow, that word just left my body. Intermittent fasting, as a diet choice. And I was like, all right, that's what I'm thinking this person. I'm thinking this person is artificially making themselves do OMOD as a way to lose weight. So I'm just sort of talking with them about it. But then the person just said, I just never get hungry. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. And the person said, yeah, I'm on Wegovy. And the person talked to me as if I should know what it is. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Wegovy. Can you tell me what this is? And the person told me, it's like, well, it's like Ozempic. And I'm like, I'm not familiar with Ozempic. And they're like, well, it's a GLP-1. I'm like, I don't know what any of these are. And the person's telling me that it's a weight loss medication and it just basically makes them not hungry. And I'm just like, an appetite suppressant? He's like, no, it doesn't work like an appetite suppressant. It's, he tried to explain to me, but he didn't really know how to explain it because it was so new. People didn't really even know how to explain it to each other. It was just a diabetes medicine that if you took it, you just didn't want to eat. And I was like, okay, fascinating. So I'm working with this person, but I noticed something. This person was never hungry, like ever. I was like, and that's a core fundamental part of how I approach weight loss is that, like, we're going to learn about your hunger and we're going to learn how to work with your hunger and we're going to master your hunger. And it's like, but if you never get hungry, how are we going to practice it? And so it was just strange. That was the first time I was exposed to it. And as time was progressing, I was hearing about it more and more. Now, at the time, all I was hearing about on social media at the time was insulin resistance. Everything was about insulin resistance. That ridiculous hack of a Dr. Fung, whatever, was out there just messing everybody up, getting everybody's like, oh, you can't, calories don't count. It doesn't matter. It's all about your insulin resistance. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not even true. I mean, it's like, yes, this is true. It's like, how to describe this? It's like the person was like only talking about the only thing on this table is this. The only thing that's on this table is this keyboard. I can't see anything else but this keyboard. Nothing else matters because all there is this keyboard on this table. That's sort of what it's like. It's like, I know insulin resistance is a thing, but there's so much more to it than that. And calories in, calories out still applies. Like, it doesn't get you out of it. And so I was always constantly having people just be like, Chris, don't you know you can't lose weight unless you balance your insulin? Like, at that time, I was getting it every day across every social media platform. It was insulin resistance and keto. Those are the two things that just everybody was like, this is it. This is the answer. This is the reason why we're all overweight. It's because none of us have insulin that works correctly. That's why I can't gain weight. It's because my insulin's messed up. It's like, no. That's not why you're overweight. Anyway, so that's the state of things at the time. There's always a fad. And now I'm hearing about this at Wegovy, and I'm like, well, this is just going to be the next fad. Here I am years later still talking about it. It's not going anywhere. So I'm like, all right, it's not going anywhere. But I've been learning more and more and more about it over the last couple years, really. And here's the thing. Let me tell you all some of the things I know about Wegovy and Ozempic that I've learned at this point. First thing I know, it's not a secret. It's not a magic bullet. It will work some, but it is not going to do everything. It is just a tool. I know that. The next thing I know about GLP-1s, they don't work by magic. They don't change how your body metabolizes food. Your body still processes food. Your metabolism is still the same. Well, let me rephrase it. Your body metabolizes the same. Your digestion, which is a part of metabolism in the way that some people think, that is so reductive to almost be wrong. But when you eat the food, it triggers the hormone, the GLP-1 hormone, which creates the feeling of satiety. You feel satiated. You know what else does that? Eating a whole bunch of meat or eating fiber. That triggers leptin, which tells your body, I no longer want food. That's satiated. That's that feeling of like, ugh. You're like looking at food and you're like, ugh, the thought of eating more food just nauseates me. That's satiated. Wegovy synthesizes that, is what it does. Without needing to eat food to trigger GLP-1, which your body naturally makes, you just give your body GLP-1. Now, normally GLP-1 it's like a flash. It's in, it's out of your system. It's a short half-life. But with the medication, they've altered it so that the GLP-1 hormone stays in your system, leaving that satiety feeling. So this is the interesting thing about this. It essentially makes it where you're not hungry. And you know what happens when you're not hungry? You eat less. And you know what happens when you eat less? Probably loses some weight. Because if you're very overweight, your body needs a lot of calories to sustain it. And so you start losing weight because you're not hungry. So people on GLP-1s, you know how they lose weight? By eating less. But you know what GLP-1s don't do? They don't stop emotional eating. It doesn't stop when you do eat, that if you eat incredibly calorie-dense foods, you could still take in enough calories to not lose weight. I know people, met many people that don't lose weight on GLP-1s. A lot of times they're not tracking calories. I'm willing to bet if we tracked calories, we'd find out exactly why. They're taking in too many calories or they're not moving enough. GLP-1s also don't make you suddenly decide to go move your body. Here's the other thing I know about GLP-1s. When you go into GLP-1, it is going to more than likely trigger you to lose some weight. If you have not paired it with lifestyle modification in the form of resistance training, guess what your body's going to start doing? It's going to start eating your muscles. Your body is very happy to eat unused muscles. It doesn't want to maintain them. And so your body will start going after them. You know, one of the things that happens to a lot of people going on ozempic and Wegovy and whatever the other current GLP-1 drugs are, they lose muscle mass. They get weaker. So my thing with the GLP-1s is they're not a magic bullet. I also know that when you go off of a GLP-1, your body will begin to get hungry again, just as it always did. The hunger signal will now be cleared to enter into your mind, and you won't have had any training with it. Think of it right yourself in the beginning of your journey, before your journey. Isn't your hunger a big part of the reason why you gained weight? Because you were hungry all the time and you didn't know what to do about it? So rather than training and leveling yourself up, what do? You take a medication that makes it where you just don't even have to fight the battle. You don't even have to do it. And that is why you'll be stuck on it for the rest of your life. Unless you don't mind gaining weight back while you learn to work on your hunger again. So GLP-1s, my opinion about them has been changing as more information about them comes out and as I get to talk to more and more people that are using it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my opinion about GLP-1s right now. Understand that this is my feeling as it is right now. It is not my feelings long term. My opinions about it have shifted already, and I fully anticipate my feelings on GLP-1s are going to shift again in the future. Fully expect that that's going to happen. So as of Monday, March 25th, here's what I think. For some people, GLP-1s make sense. These are going to, in my mind, here's some people that I definitely think it might make sense. If you have 300-400 pounds to lose, it makes sense. This is a long journey. Even with a GLP-1, it's going to be a long journey. Long. You might need some help. In this case, I look at the GLP-1 as a force modifier. There is a way to go on to a GLP-1, use it to lose weight, and then transition off of it. There is a way to do that. I have only found one doctor online that's talked about it, the process. I'm sure there's more. I just haven't found the videos or interviews yet them talking about it, but I'm sure they're out there because the odds of me finding the one and only one are pretty slim. But it requires lifestyle shift. So if you're 300-400 pounds, well, you've got many years, even with Ozempic Wegovy, to be instituting permanent lifestyle changes. You have many years to do that. And so in that case, I think it makes sense. Let me give you a case where I don't think it makes sense. 29-year-old female, 300 pounds, 5'6", never really lost more than about 50 pounds in their life. I don't think you should try it. Because if we sit down and talk, we'll probably find that you've never actually truly attempted to do slow and steady weight loss by making lifestyle and habit changes. You've probably always been dieting. In that case, I would be like, let's not go the medication route because you can still do it in the future. Let's try it a different way. Let's try it a way that'll work, that'll be slower, that's more permanent, that's more lasting. Let's train you. Let's condition you. Let's help you learn how to be a thin person so that you will be a thin person. I would think you should try that, especially if you've not ever tried it. Now, these are some examples where I think it makes perfect sense. Where I'm like, in my opinion, I'd be like, I do not think you should do it. And there's a situation where I definitely think you should. But then we have this area. I don't think it's a line where it's like everything on this side, it makes sense to do it. Everything on this side, it doesn't. I think what it is this gargantuan gray area. Like on either side of the gray area, there's clear-cut cases where you should and shouldn't use a GLP-1. But then we have this gray area in the middle where it's like, maybe, maybe not. It depends on the person, depends on the circumstances, depends on the situation. But I can tell you this. I started my weight loss journey at 34, about to turn 40. And it took me 2 years and 2 months to lose it all. And then I had to do maintenance. And before that, I was hopeless. I was the guy that battled it. I was the person that would have tried to do it. And the crazy thing is, like, if I put myself back in my past, if I had known about it, I can't be sure I wouldn't have tried it. I'll never know because I'm not in that situation again. And I know now what I know now. Like, knowing everything I know now, I am so glad I didn't take a GLP-1. I'm so glad I didn't know about them. I'm so glad I didn't take them because what I have now, I'm not reliant on anything. I'm not reliant on a person. I'm not reliant on an app. I'm not reliant on a company. I'm not reliant on a personal trainer. I'm sure as hell not reliant on a medication. I'm not reliant on anything but my mind. That's it. It's all I'm reliant on. I'm reliant on me, myself, and I because I figured out how to get myself to do things. Not only that, when I learned how to do this with weight loss, there was ripple effects. It carried into all other parts of my life. So for me, there is not any part of me that wishes I had done Ozempic or Wegovy instead of naturally. There's not one part of me that wishes I had done it the other way. It would have been faster, but here I am 5 years later. I don't care. 2 years isn't that long. And you know what? What happens when I've now kept the weight off for 10 years and 15 years? Okay, it took me 2 years to lose the weight, but I've kept it off for 15 years. All of a sudden, 2 years doesn't seem like that long of a time, right? Whereas if I did Ozempic and Wegovy, I go on it, I lose weight for a year, and now 15 years later, I'm still on it. And if I go off it, I'm going to gain weight back. I don't know. To me, that doesn't sound like freedom. That doesn't sound like freedom for me, Chris Terrell. For you, it might sound like freedom. You're going to have to make your own choice. This is ultimately where I think it's going to come down to Ozempic and Wegovy. There is no one out there that I believe that can give the definitive you should or shouldn't do it. I think when somebody makes an absolute blanket statement like obesity is a disease and everybody should be on a GLP-1, which I have heard some doctors saying, I think they're wrong. I think they're false. I just think they're wrong. The fact you're a doctor means jack shit to me in that. I just think you're wrong. But when a person says no one should take a GLP-1, no one, I think you're equally as wrong. And I don't care if you're a doctor. It means jack shit to me. Like, no, I don't think anybody should be giving an absolute, I know the answer for everyone. No, you don't. Run from those people that say they know the answer for everyone. They don't. But I know for me, it was the right answer not to do it. I know for many people, the right answer will be don't do it. For many people, the answer is going to be definitely do it. And to all of you in the gray area, you're going to have to just look at all the available information and make a decision on what you believe is the best thing for you to do, and then have the courage to follow through on it. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. But just know that if you lose weight with a GLP-1, based on all the current available information as of, again, March 25th, all signs point to you will be taking this medication forever, or you will gain your weight back. That's what the signs point to. Will that hold out? We'll see. We'll see. It's too new. We don't know. We've seen cases going different directions, but on the large population level application, we're seeing it now. First time, we're many years into it, but we'll see. I know that weight loss surgery doesn't work as much as people think, has a surprisingly high failure rate. I expect the GLP-1s will have an equally high failure rate. That's what my gut tells me. My gut tells me that in 5-10 years from now, we're going to look at GLP-1s much the same way we do with weight loss surgery. Works for some people, doesn't work for a lot of people. Works for a lot of people. You won't know until you do it. I think that's what you can do. Let's see. Oh, here, somebody put here. This is so good. 2 years ago, I lost 90 pounds with Ozempic and diet pills. I felt free, only to gain it all back, plus the added shame I felt. This is not an isolated story right here. This is why I've said what I've said about it's not a silver bullet, because it's not. Because this is not an isolated story. I've talked firsthand with many people that have this story. And I've talked firsthand to people that have lost it and kept it off. Same with bariatric surgery. I've talked to many people that have taken weight loss surgery and it's worked. 10 years later, they're still thin. And I know people that did it and they gained it back. I know people that have lost weight with keto and it's worked out great. They've kept it off. My wife's one of them. She lost weight with keto and she's been keeping it off. But I know lots of people that have lost weight with keto and gained it all back. I'm one of them. It's not a silver bullet. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Y'all, it's so good to see you here. I love having you here at these live streams here on YouTube. Hopefully this is a much better experience for you as the watcher. I know for me, this is a much better experience doing it here on YouTube. So I will be here every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Be sure, as I just did, to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and YouTube will notify you every time I go live. I also post in my Facebook group, which you can, for those of you that only have known me through YouTube, you can, once this is done and processed, I'll have it added to the description, but also you can go to christorcoaching.com, and under my free content section, you'll find a link to my free Facebook group that you can come join. Would love to see you there. And if you're looking for next level support, I have a paid offering. It's at my group coaching program. It's called the Guild of Champions. Would love to see you all in there. For those of you that need help, you get more coaching from me. You get more access to me. I have a library with 200 hours of weight loss content, all searchable and categorized. I have courses, and I have community where we do virtual and in-person meetups and events. We do competitions. It's a super fun community, and I'd love to see you there for those of you that are looking for that. There's many guild members here in the chat right now that I've seen, and we got people losing weight every day, challenging themselves, bettering their best. And if you're looking for some help, I'd love to see you over there. You can find information for that by going to theguildofchampions.com. That's theguildofchampions.com. There's a video there. Tell you all about it. You can learn more about it. Make a decision for yourself if it makes sense to join. All right. Have a great week, you all. Go crush your weight loss journey this week. Got a podcast that dropped free on Sunday. It was a little bit delayed due to travel scheduled this past week for my vacation, but it is uploaded as of yesterday. It is my tips for tracking calories. And these are tips that I'm using because right now I'm tracking calories myself. So I stand by these tips. I'm using them every day myself right now. These are tips from somebody that's lost 125 pounds and has been keeping them off. So I think the tips probably will work for you too. They've been field tested. Have a great day. Talk to you later.